Yo, what's up YouTube? Dragothien Gaming coming back with another Rise of Kingdoms video, and today, in honor of our KvK 1 fast approaching, we're probably about, I want to say 3 weeks away. We're about 2 days away from Lost Temple capture, so stay tuned for the end of the video. I'm also going to be giving you a little heads up, or like a schedule of what we're going to be doing for that. But in this video, we are going to be talking about our KvK 1 commander pairings. We're going to make this as free-to-play friendly as possible. That was the main project, or the main goal of this project, was to experience that day in the life of a free-to-play player. So we are going to make this very free-to-play friendly. I am also going to talk about some mid-spender to whale commander combinations that you guys can utilize as well. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it. All right, y'all, so I actually had to jump onto my main because I started to record a little bit and then I realized I don't have YSG. So I wanted to have appropriate representation for these commander pairings that I was going to be doing for you guys. Now, before I start this, I'm going to just premise this by saying, if you are a free-to-play or a low spender, please, even mid-spenders, please be very careful with the amount of stars that you are investing into your legendary commanders. And I'll clip right here and go to my jumper. So as you can see, you really do need to be weary of the amount of stars that you are using. So my recommendation is to maybe bring Charles Martel up to 6-star first, and then you can focus the rest of your stars onto YSG and bring him up to 4 stars. That way you can unlock all of the skills that are needed once you want to start working on him. Also, be very careful with the amount of experience books that you're spreading out amongst your commanders as well. As you saw when I clipped to my jumper, Charles is only at level 55, Ethelfly's sitting at level 40. Unless you're, there's no explanation for it. You're just simply not going to have enough experience books to max many commanders out at once. You really have to rely on the guardians at the holy sites, and you should be taking advantage of those in the early game like crazy. So without further ado, let's jump into the commander pairings for KvK Season 1. So as you can see here, first up we have Charles, Martel, and YSG. I honestly do think that this is going to be the best pairing for your KvK 1 as I pop up the rest of the pairings and give you a little bit of a teaser. So these are pretty much 5 troop marches, and then I'll give you another 5 troop march and some honorable mentions, stuff like that. So ideal 5 marches. Charles Martel, again, you're getting the shield. Infantry runs rampant in KvK Season 1. You're getting the shield, you're getting the damage bonus, which is going to be multiplied, which is going to multiply the damage factor of YSG's active skill on top of the additional boost that he's already getting from his passive skill over here, because you have to keep in mind that passive skills and active skills do stack. Next, we have Richard and Ethelfly. Richard, again, be very careful. If you have not checked out my Richard video, it's one of the first videos I did, so ignore the very newbie thumbnail, but I'll leave a card up in the top for you guys on the Richard video. Pretty much though, in simple terms, as you can see here, mine's only 5511. As a cab main, I didn't feel like I needed to push him any further. Honestly, you can get past with a 511 Richard in KvK 1, and he's going to be doing what he needs you to do in combination with Ethelfly, as he's debuffing the march speed. And then for Ethelfly, oops, I don't know how to get rid of that now. Oh, I click here. With Ethelfly, if you do have her expertise, she's going to increase your damage dealt by 20% on enemies who are slowed down. Now, the reason why I also paired Richard with Ethelfly, and you'll see in my second list of commanders, I do believe that Richard, he doesn't get targeted that heavily. A lot of people know him for just being a big tank on the field. He's not really putting out that much damage onto your enemies. So you always want to use Richard to utilize him to hide your debuffers and your buffing commanders. And again, you'll see that in the secondary marches going forward. And then of course you're just getting all bunch of goodies and reduced damage, reduced counterattack damage, so your troop should stay alive for fairly long. Up next we have our man Sun Tzu. He is known as like this pseudo legendary, amazing commander to have. He really should probably be the first epic commander that you should be working on. If you are free to play, I will pull that back. Go with Britain. I'm going to make a video on this. Go with Britain, because I did not realize how garbage gold key drops were in the beginning. I'm going to also be making a video probably once we get a little bit closer to KvK of 10 things I found out about being a free to play / low spending player. And that is going to be one of them. Gold key drops are horrible. Expertising epic commanders is actually quite a challenge, so you do have to be careful again with the amount of sculpts that you're investing into not only your legendary commanders but also your epic commanders. Be careful with the stars that you're using on them. Don't spread yourself too thin, and again, be patient with your experience books. Level them up with the guardians, and then as it comes time closer for KvK, then you want to start to boost some of those guys up with books. Sun Tzu, again, very good commander. He's super versatile, which is why most people say that he should be one of the first epic commanders that you should max. He's got a really nice AoE, which gives you a little bit of also skill regeneration, or the rage regen, which is very nice on a commander like Bjorn, who is going to be, once expertised, he's going to be debuffing up to 2 nearby enemies for 15% increased skill damage taken. That is amazing. On top of all that, Sun Tzu is giving you health. He's giving you increased skill damage, which is going to boost Bjorn's skill damage. And then Bjorn is also giving you a little bit of attack and defense, and then a little bit extra damage over here as well. Very nice combo that I feel like you can't go wrong with. Again, as you notice the trend, the first 3 marches that I just laid out for you are all infantry primary commanders. So very heavy infantry meta in KvK Season 1. Next, we're going to give a little props to the archers. I toned this down a little bit. I initially had another commander pairing here in the next section, in this little red section, as I give you a little bit of a peek. But I wanted to be a little bit more realistic. I feel like the first 3 pairings are pretty realistic for most players to achieve. I think this one is going to be realistic for you guys too. Kusunoki and Hermann, just keeping the commander pairing types together. Again, you probably will reach a point in KvK when you're running low on troops, and that's what your Ethelfly is going to be for, where you can use mixed troop marches. Kusunoki, though, you do want to keep as a primary commander, because he is going to immediately remove all control, slowdown, poison, exhaust, and other debuffs from troops led by this commander. So that means if a Richard AoE is hitting you and you're being debuffed on damage, once Kusunoki uses his active skill, it is going to clear that debuff of damage reduction from your marches, which is going to allow Hermann to hit with his full force. Another reason why I put these 2 commanders together is because you're getting some nice stat boost, 15% increased attack, 15% increased defense, and then 10% increased attack from Hermann, as well as 10% increased march speed. March speed, always a good thing, because it helps you to engage into battles faster and also run away if you're getting smashed. And then yeah, a pretty solid nuke here from Hermann, and then you're getting a rage reduction onto the enemy, and then you're silencing it for 2 seconds as well, which you don't get until generation 3 commander once Guan Yu comes out. So Hermann is your only silencing commander that you will have availability to. 5th commander pairing, as we move on to our Cavs, showing Cav gang a little bit of love. We got Minamoto and Baybars. I put Baybars as secondary, just purely because of the fact that I believe once you are in murder ball situations, or you're just in huge battles where there's enemies everywhere, you really want to take advantage of area of effect damage. I know a lot of people are probably going to want to run Double C, because he is another legendary commander. He's giving you some really nice stats, a very nice nuke, decent debuff too. But I feel like you just can't miss out on all of the AoE that you're going to be pouring out onto your enemies. And then Minamoto, again, is tried and true KvK 1 commander. Just be careful, guys. I learned this the hard way through experience. Cav gang, it's targeted quite quickly in your KvK Season 1. As we go on to these kind of honorable mentions slash 2.0 pairings that you can do, if you want to say, and these are probably going to be a little bit even more free to play friendly besides this guy over here. This is the one that I was alluding to. So let's jump into these commander pairings 2.0 slash a little bit more free to play, low spender friendly. So over here I swapped out YSG for maybe some of the players who don't want to invest in YSG or just don't have YSG, and running a Charles and Sun Tzu. This is another tried and true combination. I think running this is probably still better than a YSG that's like maybe 5-1-1-1-1, unless you get lucky and you get the YSG to 5-1-1-5, where you're getting that massive 50% skill damage bonus. That's probably the only other time that I would put YSG with Charles ahead of Sun Tzu. But Sun Tzu, again, he's a little bit of like a pseudo legendary commander. He does something very similar to what YSG is doing, and he's going to be hitting more targets, where YSG is only hitting 3 before his expertise. Sun Tzu expertise is going to be giving you 5, and again, you're going to be rage regenning pretty nicely to keep that shield up for your tankiness, and then also for the increased damage flow that you want to keep going. Kind of playing off our Richard pairing from the first portion, here we have Richard and Joan, just purely for the fact that you want to hide your debuffers. If you see an Ethelfly or a Joan in the field, I'm telling you, people are going to call them out on Discord and say, target the Ethelfly next, target the Joan next, because people simply don't want, buffers or debuffers on the field. And that's purely the only reason. I mean, she's giving you probably one of the best buffs in the game. People still use her into the late game for these buffs. You're getting the additional rage for over 4 seconds, all of the increased health for infantry units, increased defense for cav. It's so good not to have on there. And then she's going to give you a little bit more heals, which Richard really doesn't need, but she's also going to give you increased normal attack damage by 25%, which Richard actually does need. So there is a little bit of synergy between these commanders here. If we move on to the Kusunoki pairing, so this is actually going to be more of like a whaley combination. I shouldn't have grouped it in here, but I did. Apologize. The only reason why I say that, so if you have Kusunoki at an expertise level, and then you maybe are, say, like a whale who you're opening a bunch of gold keys, you had some pretty solid luck with him, and you pushed an LCID MGE, well, if you get this guy to 5-5-1-1, he's pretty good. But if you can sneak him into a 5-1-5-1, where he is going to, I believe this goes up to 20% increased defense and 15% increased march speed, that is lovely in KvK 1. So again, this is a little bit of a more whaley combination that I'm putting out there, but it is a combination that you can use nonetheless. As we move on, because the video is getting a little bit long, next we have Bjorn and Ethelfled. This is assuming in the case that you are using Charles Sun Tzu. So now you're losing your Sun Tzu Bjorn combination. This is in regards to, or assuming that you are using Richard Joan and your Ethelfled is no longer paired with your Richard. I think this is still a pretty good march because Ethelfled is dealing skill damage. Bjorn is a skill damage commander. He's infantry based, which is going to give you the tank that Ethelfled needs to stay on the field a little bit longer to keep that debuff rolling. The only thing that you're missing out on here synergy wise is that Bjorn is not slowing your enemy targets, but you can rely on your allies or your alliance mates for that if they are using Richards or Baybars in the field to slow your enemies, because that will still take effect. And she's just really hard not to use because you're getting 20% less counterattack damage taken. And counterattack damage is going to be if you are not the primary target being hit. So if your Charles is a primary target, your Richard, Kuso, and Bjorn are attacking the target that you're hitting, you're only taking counterattack damage. You're not taking that full damage that your Charles would be taking. And then lastly, we have our man Pelagius. This guy served me very well in KvK 1 and KvK 2. He's a little light on the nuke. It's only about a 300 damage factor with an additional damage factor after, but he's going to give you some rage regeneration. This is what I really like about him, is that he's going to be giving you 15% attack and 15% defense upon expertising him, and then a little bit of sustain as well with a healing factor that he is going to obtain. Again, a little bit more of a free-to-play friendly option instead of putting Mina in there, but you definitely don't want Belisarius running in there because the mobility tree is quite garbage, guys. So don't use Belisarius in the open field in your big wars unless you are actively going to hunt farmers, because you just don't want the mobility tree in the open field. It's not giving you a lot of viability. And then over here we have our YSG bench portion, I guess you can say. So we have Richard YSG, which again is a very nice combination, just purely for the fact that people are not targeting Richards all too often. And if you can sneak your YSG in there and keep him alive a little bit longer while he just keeps firing off those arrows and that massive circular AoE, then that is going to serve you very well. Something that I always personally lived by is just keeping your DPS commanders alive. Moving on, next we have, for those who maybe didn't invest into Richard, maybe don't have a Charles who's quite up to spec, you can absolutely use Sun Tzu YSG in the field as well. Just be careful, because Sun Tzu does kind of tend to get targeted a little bit. I think because players do know that he is so good, they kind of want to clear him off the field a little bit more quickly. But this is absolutely a combination that you can use. You are going to be stacking these two skills, which is pretty wild to think that you're going to be getting 70% increased skill damage on top of this dude's massive 1700 damage factor nuke, and then really beefing up Sun Tzu's 800 damage factor on the AoE. Really, really good synergy between these two guys. And then lastly, Kusunoki YSG, because why not? Show the archer gang a little bit of love. I mean, they're both archers. If you're running archer units, they're going to be getting 10% chance to gain an extra 100 rage for each normal attack. And then for the next few seconds, all archer units led by this commander gain 100% increased attack, which can really add a nice punch onto some marches for you. I think that's pretty much it. I have a slight feeling in the back of my head that I did forget some marches. If I did, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. But I think I covered, for the most part, most of the combinations that people are going to be using. These are honestly combinations that I would run in the field if you did have the 5 marches to do so. So yeah, again, if I missed anything, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. As always, thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for the support and the love that you guys show. Really, really awesome to be back. Please, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, do all the things to help the algorithm boost the channel on YouTube. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Oh, and by the way, real quick, so today is Wednesday. Friday, we have Lost Temple Capture in 2581 on the Jumper Project. I am going to be running a happy hour stream as kind of like a celebratory welcome back to myself to the YouTube world. So we will be doing a little bit of a happy hour stream. We'll be checking out 2581 and all the fun things that are going to be going on there as we after capturing the Lost Temple. And then we'll probably jump around accounts a little bit, get you guys back up to speed as to what I've been doing on my main account as well, because we have done some pretty cool things since we've been gone. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably run that about Friday, let's see, 16, probably about Friday, which is going to be the 18th at about maybe 18 UTC. So stay tuned for that. Join the Discord if you have not done so below. That's the best way to stay up to date with the streams. And again, I'm out. Have a good one, guys. Peace.